Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us again today. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a special guest with us as we do each week. And today we have Mr. Seibert with us, Mr. Matt Seibert, and he is an entrepreneur and he has worked with many entrepreneurs. And so today I decided I'm going to pick Matt's brain. And he's just going to give us some of his experiences as to what he's seen in the industry and what, the harms that has occurred along the way for him. So welcome, Matt. We're so
Well,
glad you could join us.
thanks for having me. It's always been a pleasure and it's always fun working with you guys. So, um, yeah, I want to talk kind of, can I share a story first?
Absolutely. We love story time.
Yeah, I've been in entrepreneurship for many, many years. I've been in the insurance industry for a little bit over a decade. And when one of the stories that really resonates with me, and I always thinking about how important it is for entrepreneurs, business owners, even if you don't consider yourself an entrepreneur, maybe you consider yourself self-employed, but anybody that's working for themselves or going in that direction, this story kind of always reminds me the importance of making sure you have protection and a plan in place, whether it's financial or if it's for insurance sake. But I remember I got into this industry, and about a year later, one of my good friends, he left corporate America, and I kind of encouraged him to find his path to entrepreneurship. Start your own business, like leave corporate America and go work for yourself. And so I really contributed to his shift in mindset. And he wanted to become an entrepreneur, and he
Mm,
decided to leave corporate America to start a supplement business.
mhm.
I was just really excited for him. Wife, two kids, and his family was excited. But for I think in entrepreneurship, one of the scary thing is leaving that corporate environment, right? Leaving
With
that
that
steady
stability.
paycheck,
Mhm.
right? Yeah. And I coached him through it, and I told him, I set him up right. He had savings, he had some things in place. He was going to use some of his money from a 401k to kind of jumpstart his business.
Mm,
And I remember his first year, he really struggled. It was pretty tough.
mm,
And when you struggle like that, you go back home, things are not happy, everybody's stressed out because everybody was relying on him, his wife wasn't working.
mm.
um, and I remember one of the things that we talked about, I said, hey, look, right now you don't have any type of life insurance, and I know financially he just wasn't in a good spot. And he's like, Matt, like I can't even barely pay my bills. And I said, that's exactly why you need to get coverage. And I knew he didn't have a big budget, but I really pushed him to really focus on the importance of it, and what could happen. It's one of the things that I'm so glad I pushed him, because it wasn't just like one conversation. I had to keep on pushing him, keep on pushing him. And I finally got him a really affordable term policy.
Mm.
Ideally, he wanted something different, but the term was just right, right in his budget. It was affordable. We got him about $500,000. And, that was that. He probably thought he didn't need it.
Mm.
And about 8 months later, he passed away in a car accident.
Wow.
Um, and that was a big shift for me, because that was the first thing I thought about. I thought, wow, I got him a policy, because I was worried about what is his family going to do. And I think one of my biggest regrets was not giving him more coverage. Like I wish I would have got him like 2, 3 million. Obviously, he couldn't afford it at the time. I'm glad I got him something. It's better than nothing. But I remember calling his wife and telling him that story of how I had to push him, and how much coverage. I don't think she even actually knew what he had.
Wow.
And that $500,000 set them up for a good long time. Eventually she had to get a job and stuff like that. But I think the main thing was she wasn't stressed out, and they're going in such an uncharted territory, starting a business. I just really felt like there had to be some type of certainty if something didn't work out, like if he passed away or something like that, that his
Mm,
family was taken care of. And one of the things I pushed him so hard is because in this industry, I've had a couple of occasions where people close to me, I didn't push hard enough, and
mm,
they didn't end up getting policies, and they passed away.
mm.
And for me, unfortunately, it happened twice where I was there. I could have pushed them a little bit further to see the value. Obviously, everybody sees the value, but a lot of people, they don't want to make the decision right now. And I could have pushed a little bit harder. And those
Right.
two scenarios, they passed away and their family didn't have anything. And so I know it's not like, it's not my responsibility, but at the same time, after those instances, I've really pushed people to see the importance of it. But I think a lot of entrepreneurs, the reason why it's important and they should really think about this stuff is most entrepreneurs, they leave corporate America. And most of the time when you're working for a company, you have some sort of, life insurance with the employer. I'm
Right.
not saying that's the best type, but it's better than not having anything at all. And a
Right.
lot of entrepreneurs, when they leave corporate America, they don't have anything. They no coverage at all. And it's one of the last things I think a lot of people think about, but it's so important, right?
Yes.
But aside from just the life insurance component, I work with a lot of business owners, a lot of entrepreneurs, and really to get their business off the ground, one of the things they rely on is getting funding, or some type of capital to get the
Mm,
business jump started.
right.
And what I see often is they're using their savings, right? They're using their savings, they're using credit cards, they're borrowing money from friends or family, or they're getting loans. And I
Mm,
think the idea of understanding, if you're going to start a business, most of the time it's going to take money to make money, right? And I look at all those occasions, and one of the things that we specialize in is helping people with whole life if there's a need for it, and if it makes sense. And I
Exactly.
just can't, help to think like, wow, if they would have had a whole life policy and funding that properly in the beginning, how the business would be so much easier, less risky, and
Mm,
there'd be a sense of certainty. Not only that, obviously, the life insurance component to it. So, yeah, I think what we do is really important, and I love working with entrepreneurs and educating them. And I know that's your goal too, and you're working with a lot of entrepreneurs, and I think this
absolutely.
message is not out there enough.
Right.
But I'm just really excited to be on this journey to go out and educate and help people.
Hmm.
Just even figuring out what their options are. And what we find is a lot of people, once they realize what all their options are, they see the gaps themselves, right?
Hmm.
And all we can do is point people in the right direction, but that's what we're here to do.
Yeah. One of the things that I noticed that a lot of entrepreneurs that I interact with, a lot of them will insure their car,
Mm,
insure their house,
yeah,
insure their, gadgets, but the most important asset, which is themselves, that's the last thing on their mind, right? And so it's so harmful and catastrophic when something does occur, right? Even if an illness occur. In fact, I know a gentleman that he now has stomach and liver cancer. He's under
wow.
40.
Wow.
He's an entrepreneur. He cannot even walk away from his business to take care of his health right now because he's the sole person of his business, right? And
Yeah.
so if he had had that coverage, he would have been able to take part of that death benefit while he's alive to take care of those health issues that he is struggling with right now. And so it really breaks my heart because what advice, Matt, would you give to individuals that are really kind of on the fence or putting it on the back burner right now, saying, "I'll get to it. I'm young enough, I'm healthy enough. Let me just hustle right now. Let me just grind. I'll eventually, get the coverage I need."
Well, I think if you want to succeed in business, most business owners, the successful ones,
Hmm.
they make decisions based on probability. Meaning, if you're going to make a decision for your business, which direction you're going to go, left or right,
Right.
how much money you're going to spend for your business, the investment that you're going to do it for your business, any business decisions, really successful entrepreneurs, they make that decision based on probability. So, what's the highest probability for success, right? What's the probability for me to profit from this transaction, right? That's what, to stay in business.
Hmm.
And as a business owner, if you're thinking about what is going to yield the highest probability of success, well, the probability of you having some type of cancer, terminal illness,
Wow.
probability of receiving some type of disability where it's a disability where it could probably take you out of business because you can't work, right? You can't
Right.
perform 2 out of the 6 daily duties of living and stuff like that.
Hmm.
People would be shocked if they really researched what is the probability that I get cancer. The last study that I looked is by the Cancer Institute. 40% of men and women will get cancer sometime in their lifetime. That's
Wow.
nearly half,
Wow.
almost 1 in 2, right? And then 1 out of every 3 will get a disability before they hit retirement. So
Mm.
think about that. 1 out of every 3, and the disability I'm talking about is one that's going to take you out of work. Your
Right.
business, if your business can't sustain without you, you're not going to have a business. So nearly half people are going to get cancer, and
Mm.
1 out of 3 will get a disability before retirement. And when you look at those types of statistics as a business owner, then if you look at through the frames of what's the probability that this could take me out of business, it's pretty high. And so
Wow.
if you are running a successful business and you want to be successful, I would imagine it would be smart to look at something that has a high probability of threat of taking your business away to insure it, to make sure you have something in place, to have a safety net in place to ensure those things. And I think a lot of people, they don't get these types of things. I think it's just a lack of perspective,
Mhm.
education. It's not like we learned this stuff in school. It's not
Right.
like they teach us in college. It's like a lot of this stuff people find on accident. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, a lot of people find out when a loved one goes through something, right? Or a loved one calls them and say, "Hey, I got cancer or something." They're thinking like, "Oh my gosh, do you have life insurance?" So
Mhm.
unfortunately, a lot of times people realize they need this stuff when it's already too late.
Mhm.
So I think all of us have common sense. And what I just said, I think it's pretty common sense. And I think if you're watching this video,
Mhm.
it doesn't hurt to look and research, learn your options.
Right.
I think you should definitely seek out and learn about the different options and what it could do for you. Heck, go look at the probability of terminal illness, cancer, chronic illness, critical illness. You'll be pretty shocked. And I think we all understand that in this day and age, our food, I mean, this is a whole different rant. It could be a whole nother video, but I think we all agree now that a lot of our food is poisoned. It has poison and stuff in it, seed oils, whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
I mean, the fact that you have to pay extra for food that doesn't have pesticides on it, I
Right.
mean, what kind of world do we live in, right? And
Right.
so we see sickness around us. We see people dying at a high
Mhm.
frequent rate more than ever. just common diseases, and heart attack rates right now for younger generation has skyrocketed.
Mhm.
I'm not going to say what it's from, and people have their own conclusions, conspiracy theories, but the data is the data. We have more 20 to 30-year-olds getting heart attacks than ever before. So when we look at all that data, well, there's only one thing that could provide some certainty and some safety and insulate, like, your family and your business partners and stuff like that, to put them in a safe place. And that's life insurance. And so it should be, I wish it was a responsibility. Like, we're obligated to get car insurance. We're obligated to
Exactly.
get certain type of insurance, but how the heck is it not a responsibility and illegal to ensure that when you pass away, that nobody else has to pick up your mess and your burden, your
Exactly.
finances? Why is that, not
Why is
not
that?
something that you're required to do? So, I think a lot of things are backwards. Like you were saying, man, we'll insure our iPhones. We'll insure big purchases, 2-3 year plans, Apple Care. We insure a lot of things because we understand the importance of things might happen that are out of our control. But like you were saying, the one thing that's the most important is us and our family. We don't, really look at it that way, which is a shame.
Yeah, it is a shame. So, folks, you've heard it from the mouth of Matt, the expert, the pro in life insurance. If you have to take this more seriously, right? Common sense, unfortunately, is not so common today, unfortunately. And so, like Matt said, it should be an obligation for us to have that coverage, just like our car insurance, right? And so because of that, we put our families in a bad predicament. Not only that, we are allowing them now to not grieve you properly because now they have to pick up the pieces. And so, let's ensure that our families are taken care of. If we truly do love our families, we would make sure that they are at least financially comfortable enough. And not only that, life insurance is no longer death insurance, it's life insurance, meaning when you get sick, you are now able to take advantage of this benefit. And so, not only that, it also helps to build your net worth, right? And so, the fastest way to wealth is to buy your wealth. And so that is done through life insurance, right? Because the truth is, if we're working, we're exchanging time for dollar, we're never going to create wealth. So we now have to buy wealth, especially if we're now past our 40s. So thanks, Matt, for joining us. We appreciate you. And thank you all for joining us today, and happy investing.